Jones-White's win last time out made it 4 different winners in 4 races. With the winner's circle now a crowd of Heerey, Bull, Crispin and Jones-White, can the final race in the sunny south of Wales make it 5? Or are we about to see our first double winner? For the third outing at Pembrey, things are a little different. Races 1 and 2 were 15-minute sprints. Race 3 is a 90-minute enduro. 1.5 hours of 2CV racing at arguably one of the best 2CV tracks in Great Britain. A sprint is a flat-out dash to the line, short and sweet, but intense and fierce. An enduro is not the same. Just like in WEC, there will be pit stops and in some cases, driver changes. Few teams opt to run one driver, others 2. As there are a number of mandatory pit stops and there is no advantage to running just a single driver, most opt to invite a friend, a teammate, or some other form of talent. Whatever happens, the enduro at Pembrey will be a race of patience, teamwork, and skill. Qualifying for the Enduro saw the P2W car of Nick Crispin on pole, sharing his precious machine with the ferocious talent of Chris Tovey, who takes the start. Brian Heerey took second and is alone at the wheel for the entire race distance. The 13 car of Jones White and Luca Peretti sit in third, with the second Tete Rouge car of Andrew Bull in fourth, joined by Saturday's star of the show, Alec Graham, who came from the back row of the grid in both sprints to finish in a top 5 and even take a podium in race 2. Liner Stone with its sister car, the 20 of Dawson and brother to Luca, Oscar Peretti, sit in 5th, seemingly able to find the form that the car showed at Silverstone. George Broadhurst returns to the grid to join father Lawrence in the SL racing car and sit in 7th, and the 2 Team Lion cars lock out the 5th row of the grid. Further down the grid you'll find the Team ECAS car in 11th alongside Chris Yates driving solo in the Muffin Motorsport car. Nick Crispin finds himself driving 2 cars in the same race as he aids the 300 TS racing car of Shirley Hennessy and takes the start from 15th to jump into his own car after Chris Tovey. At the back of the grid, after more bad luck, is Martin Ryman's Classic 41 factory racing car, and they will surely be looking to make some places through the 90-minute endurance race. With the grid set for the final race of a long and eventful Pembrey meeting, it's all go, and the pit lane is buzzing with energy. As previously mentioned, an enduro is a whole different ballgame. With 2 mandatory pit stops to complete, teams will be looking for the optimal strategy, and a safety car will likely see a very busy pit lane and teams attempting to complete both stops under caution. This can lead to mayhem and often results in some teams risking losing time in a busy pit lane or losing time by staying out and hoping for another safety car. Fast stops and perfect timing is the aim of the game then. And should we see a safety carless race, it could be interesting to see who blinks first. As the cars form up, it's almost time to go racing. But first we head down to the dummy grid for a few words from our drivers before the race.
Brian's always looking racy and ready for this. I always find it interesting with these sorts of races, Brian. Is this about the win? You're solo driving, are you, Brian? You are solo driving, so you don't have to worry about sort of the tactics of, you know, when to drive a change. You can just, if a safety car comes out, you'll dive in, right?
Yeah, if there's a safety car in the pit window, I'll be coming in under that and doing 2 pit stops on the bounce, 1 lap, back in.
So you're okay to do that? There doesn't have to be... You have to...
Otherwise, I'll be running to 60 minutes and then doing 2.
Yeah.
And then just crack on.
This is not a 2CV steering wheel. This is almost more Formula 1 akin, this, isn't it? What a great car, though, huh?
Yeah, it's a good car to get the opportunity to drive. It's pretty nerve-wracking sat here in someone else's car with someone else's championship points on the line.
Well, there is that, but don't worry about it.
It'll be fine.
What have you made of Pembrey?
I like the circuit. It's a good, fast circuit that always lends itself to some good close racing with our cars. So
yeah,
I like it.
It's very experienced, got a lot of racing.
You're at Luca, aren't you?
Yeah, Luca, yeah. Super quick, cool-headed, well, most of the time.
So what's the plan? Are you doing this for enjoyment, or is this no? If a safety car comes out, we're going to take advantage of it and get the pit stop done?
Yeah, I mean, our plan ideally is if a safety car comes out, try and get both stops done. But we're definitely here to win. I can tell you that.
I love it. Yeah.
But we'll see. The car's...
Andrew,
How you doing, mate?
I'm very well. Listen, you do an awful lot of hard work behind the scenes for the 2CV Racing Club. This must make you really proud coming and doing these endurance races.
Well, these kind of weekends, especially with the beautiful weather in South Wales, are really good for our club. The show we put on, we like to think we're pretty entertaining.
100% you're entertaining.
And we just want to show people out there that these are not silly little French cars. They're proper racing cars, and we're properly racing. So.
The enduro format consists of a rolling start, and with Chris Tovey leading the way from the lights, it was looking to be a titanic battle. The pairing of Tovey and Crispin were outright favourites amongst fans, but with 20 other teams on the grid looking to deny them, it was going to take a perfect race for anyone wanting to take the top step in this 90-minute enduro. For the first couple of laps, it looked like the lead duo of 89 and 13 were looking to create a gap to the chasing cars and run line astern for as long as necessary. After just a couple laps, however, the 89 car started to fall off the pace. And James White, realising this too late, was now open to an attack from Andrew Bull, who had made his way past his teammate in the opening laps and had the two leaders firmly in their grasp. Allowing himself to be passed, Jones White promptly followed the Porsche mint green car of Andrew Bull through and returned happily to his chosen spot of second place, a position he looked in no hurry to exchange for the lead. Whilst the battle at the front ensued, we did unfortunately see the 41 of Martin Ryman and the 77 of Neil Graham into the pits with problems less than 10 minutes into the race. The pack of Ethan Sparrow, Brian Heerey and Nick Rhodes in the 81 Tete Rouge car were all pushing hard to stay on the leaders, whilst the two Lion cars found a fight with the number 20 Podium Motorworks car of Robert Dawson in a battle for 7th, with Chris Yates sticking to their tails in 10th. 15 minutes in, and Brian Heerey had found his way past the poorly 89 of Chris Tovey and joined the lead 2 to make a break from the rest as a trio, leaving the 89 to fend for itself against the SCA car of Ethan Sparrow and the 81 of Nick Holmes. With the P2W car dispatched, Ethan Sparrow started pressuring Holmes for 4th in a hope to pass him and catch the leaders before they got away. The gap, however, was already made, and the leaders had started to lap faster than the rest of the pack in almost metronomic consistency, increasing the gap lap after lap, working perfectly, as if they were all in the same team. With Jones White in a Tete Rouge sandwich and his teammates of the 20 and 89 car nowhere to be seen, it was clear to Sebastian that he had little to no options and was forced to sit with the Tete Rouge cars and play the long game. Whilst all this was going on, however, for some teams, reliability was already becoming an issue.
Oh, the number 20's come in. Now the pit window's not yet open. Is this a problem for Podium Motorworks?
For Podium Motorworks, whilst one side of the garage was sitting happily in second, the number 20 was starting to suffer. A collision with Chris Yates after a brake failure forced Robert Dawson into the pits for repairs. Just a lap later, it was the 77 of Neil Graham in the pits yet again, destined only for retirement. And a 300 TS racing car piloted by Nick Crispin followed the 77 in due to a seriously detrimental misfire.
Shirley got a misfire.
Hi.
It's misfire.
It's misfire, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's misfire. We had it yesterday. I mean, it's a bit early for a change, so we can't do a driver change.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Might as well put you in anyway.
Looks like the 77 car, sadly, of Neil Graham, those engine issues still persisting, and it's in the garage. That could be a retirement.
The first to pull the trigger for an official pit stop after 30 minutes was the 79 Archer's Line car of Sam Archer.
To the car and get back in again to simulate a driver change. That's what we're going to see here. Sam Archer gets out, the door is closed, the door is opened, and he gets back in.
This triggered the early stoppers, but the 55 Walford's car and the SL Racing car following suit for their first pit stops and driver changes.
Pit stop, Steve Walford's in, his wife Julie's going to take over that car. And the 48 SL Racing car's in as well. That's a father and son pairing. Lawrence Broadhurst will hand over to his son George.
Just walked in so much. He's just been in. He's getting his stops done quickly, back to back it looks like. Now if you're wondering, they've got to get out of the car, shut the door, open the door, jump back in. That is a requirement. That's part of the pit stop process here. So it looks like Sam Archer's getting both of his stops out the way quickly. Pit window, of course, opened 5, 6, 7 minutes or so ago. The number 40 car's just coming in as well. It's Chris Yates in the Muffin Motorsport, and it is starting to get quite busy down here. Any more cars coming in will keep you up to speed.
At half race distance then, it was stalemate at the front, with the lead trio holding station. Meanwhile, a handful of teams had made both stops and were going to the end, with some making their first of two. Unfortunately for Matthew Hollis, it was into the pits to retire, due to the lasting effects of damage from the previous day's racing.
Yeah, here we are, everybody, unfortunately, with Matthew Hollis, the 72 car. Matthew, what's the problem?
So we had an accident yesterday in the first race, and that resulted in smashing the engine and the gearbox and bending the steering rack, or the mount of the steering rack. So we did repair it, and it got through qualifying fine, but then in the race it's broken again. So basically there's nothing holding the gearbox in, and
well to make it this far.
I could feel it in the car, and it was like, I could probably still make it, but it's obviously not doing the drive shafts much good. So yeah, it's better to be better safe.
As the leaders made their way past the back markers and time pushed on, the question of who will pit first was on everyone's mind. The rest of the field were making their stops, getting them done and out of the way, but the leaders, well, they just kept going. And the suspense was brilliant. Andrew Bull, happy to lead. Jones White, happy to tag along, and Brian Heerey was sitting pretty in third. No one dared make a move. No one dared upset the apple cart just yet. And so, time ticked on.
This language there. Car that has stopped twice, the 46. Interesting if they do.
Time was ticking away, and with the closing of the pit window nearing, the first to pull the trigger was the number 13 of Jones White and Proietti.
13 car does peel off. First of the leaders to come in is Seb Jones White. I thought they might all dive into the pits together, but no. The other two have stayed out. It's Brian Heerey up into second place, just over a second back on the leader. Seb Jones White pulls up at his pit in the background. Door open.
The number 13 might belong to Seb, but without Luca Peretti and his family, Seb probably wouldn't even be on the 2CV grid. Even when Seb stepped away from karting, racing never left him. He went on to become a race mechanic, and in 2017, the Peretti family brought him into the 2CV world for a 24-hour race. Seb never left their side, After years on the spanners, the Perettis helped put him back behind the wheel. But when Seb needed a second driver for the 25 Enduro, the first call went straight to Luca. Apparently because he's the only person that's driven Seb's car without writing it off. After Seb's win in race 2, Luca joined the post-race interview and made a very bold statement.
Racing with me in my car.
Where's Luke?
Luca.
Driver it.
This is the dream team for tomorrow.
Yeah, here's Luca. He's racing tomorrow. Hey, you've got some teammate here, haven't you?
Ah, what a teammate. You can't ask for a better one, really, can you?
A bit of pressure, I think.
Pressure's just a myth, isn't it?
This team. This is the team to watch. There you go, mate.
With 30 minutes remaining on the clock, however, that myth was about to be tested. For all their differences, Andrew Bull's story at Tête Rouge follows a very similar path. Andrew had been on the spanners for the team since the 90s, after being brought into the 2CV paddock by the Tower Tête Rouge family. Year after year he kept the cars going from the pit lane, until 2022, when he finally swapped the tools for a steering wheel. Coincidentally, the very same year Jones White joined the grid. The rivalry between the two started almost immediately. And just like the 13 car, the 76 was handing over to a close friend. Alec Graham climbed aboard the habitable Tête Rouge car for the final stint, forming a pairing every bit as strong as Seb and Luca. But with the mandatory stops to complete, and Brian Heerey still in the mix, which car would come out ahead?
We didn't see if they changed drivers again. 89 up the inside. Is that for position? No, it's not. Bit of smoke there as they come off the hairpin. We'll establish the order when everybody has made their stops, of course. Depends how long they take in the pits. So the 92, 76 and 13 have all got to stop again. 92 is currently making its way out of the pits. 76, I think, has come straight back in again. Yes, it has. And 76 straight back in. They're doing their stops back to back.
The 76 made their stops one after the other. Brian Heerey did the same, but one lap after Andrew Bull and Alec Graham. The 13, however, despite being the first of the lead three to stop, was the last of the three to make the second mandatory stop. And so we watched with bated breath to see just how close it was going to be for the race to the checkered flag.
With all the mandatory stops completed, as far as I see it, it is the number 13 car that was able to re-emerge in the lead. We didn't see their second stop, Seb Jones White and Luca Proietti, but there is the number 13, and they are your race leader, the other Podium Motorworks car. They are by some 17 seconds they are leading the way. So they got the advantage with the quicker second stop. We'll wait to see what the gap is. 17.3 seconds ahead of Andrew Bull, who's now back in the number 76 car, as we saw.
By a clear margin, it was the 13 of Podium Motorworks leading the way after the pit stop cycle. With the two Tête Rouge cars some 17 seconds down the road, two lightning-fast stops ensured a healthy lead for Luca Proietti. However, with second and third together, able to tow around as a pair, Luca had to really push hard to maintain the lead as he circulated alone. It's no secret that two cars are faster than one. If the Tête Rouge team work together, there is a very good chance that they could catch the leader before the end of the race. And initially, they were doing just that, closing in on the lead by a second a lap. For Luca, the pressure was well and truly on. Heerey and Graham pushed on, working together perfectly. But the honeymoon period between the two didn't last long.
The second stop. Thought it was a bit unusual that he'd appeared to only do one lap in that race, so he must have got out back in again at the second stop. Brian Heerey just trying to draw past him here. They're side by side through Honda Curve, these two. Now these two, I thought they'd be working together to try and catch the leader, but they seem to be more intent on racing each other for second place at the moment.
Initially, the gap to the lead was coming down. But within just a couple of laps, Alec Graham and Brian Heerey seemed to have forgotten all about the lead. Lap after lap, corner after corner, they were trading positions and paint, seemingly oblivious to the gap that they once were closing. Meanwhile, Luca Peretti set his sights on the checkered flag. As the clock moved ever closer to zero, the two Tête Rouge cars kept on fighting. For Podium Motorworks, this was fantastic. But as Andrew Bull sat on the sidelines watching his own car going toe-to-toe with his teammate, all he could do was hold his breath and watch on. Whilst a fierce inter-team battle ensued behind him, Luca Peretti found the fourth-place car of Ethan Sparrow, who, after pit stops, had ended up running a lonely final stint. Latching onto him, Sparrow and Peretti worked together in the closing laps to control the gap to second and third. An admirable decision from Ethan, who, despite being lapped, had driven a solid race and was soon to come across the line, just short of a podium. Due to the field spread, the only two battles left on track was that of the two line cars, who since the pit stop cycles had stuck together and jousted for positions in the closing stages. And of course, the second place battle between the Tête Rouge cars. With the fight being so aggressive, it was beginning to turn from a question of who will cross the line first to a question of who will cross the line at all.
Checkered flag is being ready in the last race of the weekend here in a very hot Pembrey. Back to the second, he's moving across the line and bash! Contact between the two, they both go off. They're both off onto the grass. They are sufficiently far ahead. They're at 3/4 of a lap clear of fourth place, so they will rejoin. The win is going to go to the number 13 car, though, of Luca Peretti and Seb White. They weave across the line. The checkered flag is out. Seb White and Luca Peretti for Podium Motorworks top the podium and win here at Pembrey. But who is going to be second? They've got themselves back off the grass, these two. Brian Heerey and Alec Graham, who start in the car, started by Andrew Bull. Oh, and a spin out of the final corner. What's happened there? That's the ECAS car. Brian Heerey does get second. By less than a quarter of a second over the 76.
And so, after 1.5 hours, it was the plucky underdogs who took the win, lapping all but the podium positions in a race run like clockwork. Tête Rouge pushed to the end and really did everything right. In this race, it was the pit stops that lost them the win, with Brian Heerey leading the Tête Rouge double podium across the line after a scary final lap. Ethan Sparrow held 4th to bag a good haul of all-important points, whilst Nick Crispin and Chris Tovey somehow managed to get the poorly P2W car across the line in 5th. Sam Archer won the Battle of the Lions for 7th, and George Broadhurst managed to climb his way up to 9th in the SL racing machine. Team ECAS took 10th, but could have had more as they took a spin just metres before the checkered flag. For the rest of the grid, it was a difficult ride, with reliability issues plaguing the field throughout. Hollis Motorsport and a second Podium Motorworks car were lost due to retirement, and the 77 of Neil Graham, though managed to get going again, was not classified in the final positions.
Yeah, I'm in a very, very happy part. Come on over, Luca, come on, man, boys. You wanted it, didn't you?
Yeah, it was great. That was great. We came over, yes, Seb. After Seb's win, what did we say we wanted to Seb? Win. Well, finish, but we won.
And what did you do?
We won.
Yeah! How does it feel?
Oh, fantastic, man. I'm so thrilled.
All this nonsense and telling you, the car's got a little bit underpowered. Come on.
It was yesterday, but something's happened overnight because the first 45 minutes, the thing was absolutely on fire.
Boys, you have been fantastic this weekend. You deserve this. You really, really do. Go on, have a great night. Go on, well done. Congratulations. We've got Alec Graham here. I wonder if we can. Brian Heerey there as well. So, our second.
Jones White now takes the lead at the championship, but with the lead changing every meeting and the title fight becoming crowded, at this point it seems like everyone is in with the chance at the title.
Chaps, quick word with you both actually. If you can, Brian, congratulations, second place. Alec as well, Sharon of Andrew, of course, coming home in 3rd. And what a race!
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, hard work.
Here's Andrew as well now, and things getting a bit hairy near the end, weren't they?
Yeah, me and Brian got to know each other a little bit more than we anticipated, but
it's a good job you like each other.
Yeah, it's a very good job. Yeah.
Andrew, how does that feel?
Another podium. It's a great way to finish a weekend. Not bad for a second engine. So yeah, pleased with that. Just stood on the pit wall watching teammates kind of fighting it out, going, "You're slowing each other down. Let's go get him." So,
unfortunately, they just had too much of a gap, didn't they, in the end?
I didn't know what position we were in, to be honest. I had no idea, so I was just enjoying myself.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's the best way to do it. Guys, well done. Thanks for entertaining us. It has been super. Really appreciate it. Yeah, congratulations. Sebastian Jones White, Luca Peratti over there. They are very, very happy indeed.